Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your October forecast. So, your chart ruler, Saturn, moved into Pisces, which is your second house on September 1st. So, the focus now goes back into your personal finances and income. And actually, the eclipses of September had you really focusing on that. The South Node moving through your eighth house and the North Node moving through your second house. Now, this is a time for you to really understand your personal energies, your personal, I guess, your how you tie your worth and your value to money. And this is a spiritual journey and it's not easy. I have my North and South Node natally in my second and eighth houses. So it's been quite a journey of understanding this at the embodied level. Um, so let's get into it. And also, for some people, I don't know if I was able to respond to everybody, but the book I recommend for this type of second, eighth house activation is The Soul of Money by Lynn Twist. And also just meditating on the law of reciprocity, the spirituality of money, the energetics of money, um, and really exploring that. And it's something that I would I would listen to podcasts, I would read books, but it wasn't until I actually transmuted all of that poverty consciousness and the scarcity, like the belief in scarcity, where I was able to step away from the more the heaviness of the second and eighth house transits. So having second and eighth house transits, specifically eclipses, will also maybe change the way you make and receive money as well. Um, so on October 4th, Venus and Virgo will conjunct the South Node at 8 degrees. And this is a aspect, or this is a transit that I wasn't going to include, but in September, on September 10th, the Sun was conjunct the South Node. And then the very next day, on September 11th, the Mercury conjuncted the South Node. And for a lot of people, this was a big deal. Um, October, I think 10th or 11th was when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. This is when Mercury conjunct the South Node, when my friend was fired from her job from the Washington Post. So this ended up being a bigger signature for a lot of people. So Venus now in its fall in Virgo conjunct the South Node, and Venus rules your ninth house and your fourth house. Some of you might decide that you want to let go of your home here and move abroad, or if you are abroad, deciding to move back home, but you're letting go of something. You are um, maybe even okay. Now, not all Aquarius rising, so I would take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt, because maybe like one or two people need to hear this, but this could also be some form of an income stream that you lose, since Venus also represents things that we value. And in a capitalistic system, we value money. So Venus going through the South Node, some form of income stream is um, is being lost here. You might also have an inheritance, since Venus rules your fourth house of family. And so, as a result of somebody becoming an ancestor, somebody departing this earthly realm, then you receive you receive an inheritance. So, just wanted to make you aware of this to prepare you. On September 6th, Mercury will ingress into the sign of Scorpio, which is your 10th house. So your focus now will go into the 10th house. This is a great time to announce things, to launch things if it is related to a career thing. So, for example, my 10th house is Virgo. So, when Mercury was in the sign of Virgo in my 10th house, this is when I announced officially that I was going to teach an astrology class. So, this is a good time to launch or announce anything. Um, and yeah, um, Mercury also rules your fifth house of Gemini. And so this could also be related to some project that you were working on creating and now you're announcing it to the world. On the same day, there is a full moon in Aries at 14 degrees, and this happens at 11:47 p.m. Eastern time. So please adjust for your time zone. And your Aries house is your third. So we can share the screen here. Okay. Okay. So here is the sun at 14 degrees of Libra and the moon at 14 degrees of Aries. Now, this is the full moon chart. This isn't based on your rising sign. So, the full moon in Aries is happening in your third house. And the third house is a cadent house in astrology. This is about the people that are close to you. So, your siblings, cousins, aunties, your neighbors, and the knowledge that you know. So, things that you understand, things that are familiar to you. So a full moon here is maybe you're deciding to go back to school or you're going to learn something new because the sun in Libra is in your ninth house of foreign lands, foreign travel, of spirituality. The ninth house is the house of God. This is like traveling abroad to learn a different language or learn a different culture, or traveling abroad to go on an epic pilgrimage. Like that's like ninth house energy. So the full moon happening in your third house, maybe you're deciding this is the time when I'm going to start my own podcast, or I'm going to start a Substack, and I'm going to be really involved in my neighborhood. Like I'm going to start, like knocking on doors and introducing myself. I don't know. Um, Something like this, but it's going to have to do with the third house topics. So the ruler of this full moon is Mars in Scorpio, and Scorpio is your 10th house. So, whatever this is going to have the focus be also about 10th house topics, what you're known for. And if anything, moving from Libra season, which is your ninth house of like knowledge, and then moving into Scorpio season, which is your 10th house, then you're going to be thinking about like, what is my legacy? What do I want to be known for? And if you want to bring something out into the public. So Mars traveling through your 10th house, which is in its domicile, right? It's a very well-resourced Mars. Mars is the planet of determination and getting after things, the planet of action. A lot of Aquarius risings are going to be very focused on something, most likely the career. If you don't resonate with the career, then it's something that is important to you, something that you are like feel very like called to do at this time. And when I say like legacy, this is something that is greater, right, than just a job where you make money. This is like something that, let's say, when you depart from this earthly realm, when you leave this world, what do you want people to remember you by? Like, what is the legacy? What is the things that you're leaving behind? And so with the third house full moon, this just feels like, okay, I want to be known for my writing. I want to be known for my speaking. I want to be somebody who is known to have cared about something and have taken action towards it. So I was actually thinking about this morning. I was like, when I leave this earth, all of my videos are going to live in the digital space somewhere. They're going to be archived. And when people remember me years from now, they're going to be like, okay, she was an astrologer who was making a statement in this time, this like era, this historical moment. And she was reporting about all these things going on and she really cared, like that's what I want to be known for. And Aries is the archetype of the warrior, of the risk taker, of somebody who leads, right? Aries is a very independent sign. So a lot of you might decide at this time with Mars, having this severing quality, you might decide to leave a job and go off on your own and start this entrepreneurship journey. So that is the full moon, and that is the first lunation of October. And then let's move on. On October 13th, Venus will ingress into Libra into your ninth whole sign house. And this is really lovely because Libra is another air sign. So this is an overcoming trine to you. This is very supportive. Venus is the planet of love, beauty, harmony, but also what we value, right? And I think of Venus being expressed in a cardinal air sign. This is about like social justice and upholding law. And the ninth house is about like the philosophy and belief systems that back up law. So a lot of you might be feeling inclined to travel at this time, travel abroad, or learning something new that is in alignment with your values. On October 21st, we have a new moon in Libra at 28 degrees at 8:25 a.m. Eastern time. So let's look at that new moon chart. Okay. New moon in Libra. Okay. So here we have the moon at 28 degrees with the sun. This is a conjunction. And the ruler of this new moon is Venus in its domicile of Libra. It's co-present there. And again, if you have your Aquarius rising in and around, like, let's say 22 to 29 degrees, this new moon will be a trine to you. And this is very lovely. This is very supportive. You could be feeling really like energized at this time. You could be really feeling yourself at this time. You just feel like you're making connections that are um, lovely, that are just like, oh my gosh, I am meeting the right teacher. I'm meeting the right people. I'm possibly meeting like a love interest, because Gemini is your fifth house. It's also an air sign, and that's where Venus has its joy in the fifth house. So, yeah, I think this is a really lovely new moon for you. I would set intentions for, um, whatever it is that your heart desires, because ultimately Venus also wants to make that happen for you. And Venus is Venus is in a cardinal sign, Libra. This is what begins and initiates a season. So, the whole point of astrology is not only to take in these dates and these transits, but to actually take action on them. Okay, so let's see here. Then we have on October 22nd, Neptune will go back into the sign of Pisces. On the same day, the sun will ingress into Scorpio, and then Mercury is officially in its pre-shadow at 20 degrees of Scorpio, and it will retrograde in Sagittarius on November 9th. Okay, so October 2nd, again, Neptune will be going into your second house, and both Saturn and Neptune will be finishing up their transits. Neptune since 2011 and Saturn since 2023. So Neptune was trying to get you to reimagine, reimagine and believe in other possible ways of securing your income. Neptune has this foggy illusion, kind of like confusion energy too. So a lot of you just might have been like what is money? You know, in the last 14 years since Neptune first transited your second house, like what are my belief systems about money? What do I know Neptune to be true about money? With Neptune in your second house, there had to have been like a myth and a lore around money and like what you personally inherited from maybe your parents and like the stories they had around money. Did your parents say that money was hard to make? Did they say that it was something evil to have? And the ways in which you internalize those stories with Neptune retrograde here and like finishing up its transit, you might be like, actually, I don't believe in that. I believe that money is just like paper, and the energy that I put behind it is what I need to heal, what I need to transmute. So a lot of you will be finishing up that story, which I think is ultimately going to be beneficial for you because, um, like a lot of us have these terrible money stories that we've inherited from our ancestors, from our parents. And in reality, in order for us to shift this paradigm of capitalism that we're in, we all have to do this work. So, also on the same day, the sun will ingress into your 10th house. So, again, 10th house topics, you're going to be very focused on them. I think a lot of Aquarius risings during the month of October, you're going to put forth like into the public sphere, whatever public means to you, right? Like it could be your own peer group, it could be your own industry, but something that you've been working on, you're going to launch at this time. And then Mercury is in its pre-shadow in your 10th house. Okay, so look out for um, look out for what happens during the pre-shadow because ultimately I personally experience the Mercury retrograde more during the pre-shadow than the actual retrograde. For me is always, okay, I'm going to have to like review this. I'm going to have to reflect on this. I'm going to have to recalibrate on this. Okay, so what I love about like October 24th, 25th, 28th, all of your Scorpio transits, the Sun and Mercury and Mars are going to trine um, Jupiter and Saturn because Jupiter and Saturn are now both in water signs. Saturn is again in your second house of your personal finances. And wait, let me just go back here. And Cancer is your eighth house. So, oh, wait, is Cancer? No, wait, I have to go back. Sorry. Put a pin on it. Cancer is not your eighth house. Cancer is your sixth house. Okay. So the trines from your Scorpio house to your second and your eighth, these are the houses that are related to like your work, your career, and how you receive money for them, right? The second house. And ultimately, these water trines are really supportive. They're asking you to dig deep into, again, your emotional body, your personal feelings, and like what you've internalized about your worth, your productivity, and how that is tied to how much money you make. You might be dealing with some just like repressed negative old feelings about money and worth in the month of October. But these trines make things happen. So you might just feel an overwhelm of it to get you to like look at the emotion, right? That's what happens on a full moon. Like the full moon gets the emotion up to the surface so that we can look at it and really um like understand the information behind it. Like, why do you feel this way? And so these are very supportive. And ultimately, Scorpio being your 10th house, Scorpio is about alchemizing. It's about going to the core wound and alchemizing it to your power. And on October 29th, Mercury will ingress into Sagittarius, which is your 11th house. The 11th house is about friendship groups and the community. So at this time, you just might be really busy, like, with groups and organizing or I hate this word because it's so tied to like corporate America, but networking, meeting people, sharing ideas. But again, this is part of that Mercury retrograde story because Mercury will retrograde on November 9th in the sign of Sagittarius, and then it will go back into your 10th house. So, again, ninth, 10th, 11th house topics. This is all public facing houses in the month of October. And again, I think this is all tied to also you being able to support yourself financially and building a solid foundation. And I send you so much love, Aquarius risings, because again, I have the nodes natally in my second and eighth houses. And I just remember when I had eclipses going through here that it wasn't an easy time because it just felt like anything I did, I was always focused on money. And then I became obsessed with it and fixated on it. But it always seemed like it made it even worse. But now coming out of that, I can tell you that once you do that work, once you really start to get curious and asking yourself these questions, it is like, oh my gosh, you just feel like, okay, that was meant to happen for a reason because now I'm set up to hold the frequency and the energy of the money that I'm supposed to be receiving so that I can do my purpose here on earth. Okay, Aquarius risings, thank you so much. And I will see you next month. Bye.